5.
Yes.
4, 3.
Happy New Year.
So we're going to talk about servant leadership is what we're going to talk about. Yeah,
Good. Cool.
because I feel like we posted a Buzzword Wednesday about it yesterday, and
Yes.
people were all over it because it's such a, well, you tell me. I mean, what have you guys seen? Why do you think that resonated with people? The whole concept of servant leadership. Like, what is it? What does it mean?
I think right now it's kind of turning into a lot of our other terms that we use all the time, where it's starting to lose its meaning. Everybody keeps saying it all the time, and it's starting to lose it. And I feel like you've really kind of got to live it to get it. Like, I'd always heard, people always talked about servant leadership, but it wasn't until I was on a project where, it was like even like the first time I was a Scrum Master, I was still knew enough about the technical details of what we were working on that I could help. I still had like the most like Oracle experience of anybody on the team, so I could still jump in and help on things. But it wasn't until I was a Scrum Master on a team where I knew nothing about the domain, I knew nothing about the tech stack. I first started with this like helpless feeling, like, oh my God, what can I do? And that's when I kind of had the light bulb moment of, the only thing I can do is do everything in my power to set my team up for success. It's like, I can't shoot that game-winning shot. They're going to have to do it. So what roadblocks can I clear? What information can I get them? What can I do to help them? Because I'm now in a place where I cannot do it. I cannot be the doer. And that was the first time I'd ever not been able to be the doer. But that was such a great experience because that's kind of what taught me is about like, how do I coach a team and how do I do it from the sidelines when I'm not on the court and be able to set them up for as much success as possible. And that's when it finally kind of clicked with me.
Yeah. So from a like theory perspective, servant leadership it's a term that Robert Greenleaf created in the 70s when he was at AT&T, and he just wrote an essay about it. And his idea was, he never called it servant leadership. He referred to it as the servant as leader. So when you say, and he disliked servant leadership because the emphasis is on the word leadership. It's just a style of leadership. But he wanted the emphasis to be on the word servant. And his idea was that there would be this bigger thing that we're all serving. Like we're all in service to this idea. So it's not that you're necessarily serving the team, but you kind of are because that's what's going to get this idea implemented. Some larger, start with why-ish, connect to the purpose kind of an idea. But it was just an essay, and it wasn't really. He spent a long time thinking about it and ideating on it, but it's not something that really anybody grabbed hold of. And you can open the book and be like, okay, this is what servant leadership is, and this isn't what servant leadership is. But the closest that I've been able to come to servant leadership is, first of all, it's hard because depending upon who you are and what you're able to do and what your personal goals are, sometimes it's appropriate, sometimes it's inappropriate. Sometimes you might have the best of intentions, and you're like, I'm giving up my stated authority that might just move some action a little more swiftly and efficiently in service to the team, because the team is going to feel better if they can own and inhabit this decision. But then maybe you have a boss that's like, you're indecisive and you're not taking action swiftly enough. I hired you to whip these people into gear. So there's a misalignment in, but I'm doing this whole servant leadership thing. So it's not like it's a cure-all. It's not like it just be a servant leader is adequate advice or adequate guidance. But it's also not like, okay, well, because of that, we give up. The best example of servant leadership, I think, that I have been able to conjure or use as an illustration is the idea of the rock band. This is the paragraph that I just put into self-organization. So self-organization and servant leadership go hand in hand. A management style that fosters and enables self-organization is one that values the servant part of the servant as leader. So a rock band is a self-organized team, a cross-functional self-organized team. Think about U2 specifically. You remember in the 90s when The Edge sang a song?
Yeah.
The
Well,
thing.
Right. What does he normally do?
Guitars.
He's the guitar. Yeah. Doesn't normally take the lead on vocals, but he has that skill.
Yeah.
And there was an opportunity there to provide some real value by putting him in that lead singer role for a minute. And Bono was like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. That's self-organization.
Right.
Now, in a role where servant leadership doesn't thrive, leadership is going to take an assignment and authoritative role and say, this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to do, this is the instrument you're going to play, this is the instrument you're going to play. But that role doesn't even exist in the world of the rock band. The manager of a rock band is hired by the band. So by contract, by structure, the manager is a servant in that the manager is providing a service. And that service is, I'm going to go find you the best opportunities to play gigs and engagements that are closest to the goals that you want to pursue.
And I'm going to go handle all the stuff that's not germane to you guys being a rock band. I'm going to deal with the contracts. I'm going to deal with getting you at the hotel and stuff like that.
Yes.
You guys just worry about being a rock band.
Right. And that is not rewarding work. That is degrading work. But the manager does it because they've got this, there's this greater idea, and this idea is seeing U2 play Busch Stadium. And the manager's going to do what they have to do, all just wade through the crap to get them eventually to that point where they're playing Busch Stadium and beyond now, obviously, decades beyond. That's probably a crazily outdated analogy.
No, it's perfect.